Hi everybody, this is Sandy Reese with StampinCrew.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I want to welcome you to our Thursday tutorial. I'm excited. I've got a great project to share with you today. Before we get started, we did a drawing for last week's project with this cute little box that holds a large candy bar. You can go back and look on the videos and watch the tutorial from last week. So we have two cute boxes to give away filled with chocolate, and the winner for our drawing for this past week is Vicki Kunow. So congratulations, Vicki. I will get with you and we'll figure out how to get these to you. Okay, so today what we're going to do is make a fall sampler. I'm going to get this ready to go. I see we have Kathleen and Candy on. Hello, ladies. I'm going to flip my camera down so you can see. Let's flip it upside down first and then get this. Does that look about right? Okay, that looks good. Alright, let's get some light on the situation. Okay, so I wanted to, now this is a basic fall sampler. It's not Halloween or Thanksgiving. I just wanted to do fall. I'm hoping for cooler weather. It's slightly cooler. It's in the 80s, but you know, not quite fall weather yet. But I'm using this suite called Gilded Autumn. Gorgeous colors. Today we're going to be using the paper. We're going to use these punches, a little acorn trinket, some of the ribbon. And then we're going to go over and use the Autumn Punch Pack, which actually punches out some of the images from the designer paper. So we're going to do that. And then I also used a few other items. I needed a pumpkin, so I used this little pumpkin here from the Gather Together stamp set. And that's carryover from last year. And then I'm also using the Autumn Goodness, not the bundle so much as the dies, but I'm using the Autumn Goodness stamp set. This is beautiful for autumn, and I love the little sentiments in there. So I'm excited about this. Okay, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of the paper too before we get started. I have my annual catalog, so I was going to show you something. Alright, so this paper has foil, they're single color papers on one side with foil accents. So there's gold and copper foil. This one, I love this one. It's got the pumpkin and gourds with gold foil. You can see that. This one is like a dark, like a mint macaron, and it has copper foil. It's kind of a two-tone mint. This one, I guess I'm sideways. This one has gold and copper both on it with different leaves and berries. Okay, this is a Cajun Craze with copper foil. It's just kind of a layered petal pattern. This one has acorns and 3 different types of leaves, and this also is gold and copper. And then this is mint macaron, and it looks like a gold foil. Now I love these papers, okay? But the back are my favorite. I just love how beautiful these colors are. So the colors in the pack are Cajun Craze, Early Espresso, Mint Macaron, Crumb Cake, and Very Vanilla. So we have the leaf pattern here. This one is just a nice crumb cake kind of speckled background paper. We've got a herringbone or a houndstooth, whichever, I think houndstooth. In Early Espresso. This one I love, the stripy one with all the colors, and it's very vanilla for the background. This one has all the colors in the same pattern as the one that was vanilla with the metallic accents. And then we have this one. Is this herringbone? I gotta get my pattern straightened out. So I love all the beautiful fall colors on this side, plus all the metallic accents on this side. So we're gonna be using some of that fun paper. Okay, so our background on today's sampler, we're using 12 by 12 early espresso. And I wanted to show you where you could buy the 12 by 12 paper in the annual catalogs, page 144. And right here we have that, we sell them in color families. So if this would be, of course, in the neutrals, if it's early espresso, the number's 147003, and you get 2 of each of the colors in that color family. So those are for our brights, neutrals, regals, and subtles can be found here. And then our white, let me look, our white 12 by 12 and vanilla are over on page 153, and they're right here. 12 by 12 cardstock, you get 12 sheets of very vanilla or 12 sheets of whisper white. I was actually looking for very vanilla and I could not find my vanilla, so that's going to be on my next order, some 12 by 12 vanilla cardstock. But I did happen to have some 12 by 12 early espresso. So that's what we're going to use today. The one other item in here that I wanted to show you that I am using, so you can find it later if you need to, is, I'm looking for it, this one, the Forever Greenery Trim Combo Pack. I'm using some of this gold cord. Okay, we don't have a lot of real thin trim, but I do love the gold cord, so we're going to use some of this to go with the gold accents on the paper. The item number is 152475, and you actually get the vanilla ribbon along with the gold cord. So we're going to use that. Okay, so do you want to see what we're going to make today? Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you saying yes. Hey, here's our sampler. Isn't that beautiful? I was working on this yesterday. I die cut the letters, and we're doing autumn leaves and pumpkins, please. I had a list of like 10 sayings, and so I couldn't decide what to do. I was a little hesitant about this one because I had a lot of letters, but it was really my favorite. You could do happy fall, y'all. You know, autumn leaves are here, so I don't know. There's all kinds of sayings you could do. But I wanted to do something kind of fun like that. And then I used a couple of the stamped images that we're going to do from Autumn Goodness, and of course all the wonderful sayings and sentiments on there. Okay, so let's get started. And don't forget, if you share the video today, you will have a chance to be entered into a drawing to win this sampler page. What could be better than that? A free sampler. Okay, so I have got most of my pieces cut out to save us a little bit of time. So what I think I'll do is let's do our stamping first. So we're using early espresso to stamp everything. My espresso has got a crack in it on the side, so I have to be careful that I don't slip my lid off, which was happening a lot yesterday. So we're going to do a bit of stamping today. We're going to, on our big piece, we're going to stamp our pumpkin image. I re-inked this last night, so it's very juicy. That's kind of why I want to stamp it now and give it a second to dry. Let's see how that looks good. We're going to set that aside, make sure everything is really well dried before we do our coloring or assembly. Alright, I'm just going to clean these off a bit while I go so that we don't have any, stick my arm in anything. Okay, next I'm doing this little cornstalk image, and we're going to stamp that on our striped paper. I usually don't stamp too much on our designer paper, but this, it's very detailed, but it's like almost too small to color. You could, but I just like, that happens to be right on the stripe. But I just kind of wanted to get a little texture on the stripes, and then we're going to put our sentiment on after. All right, now I did already stamp my pumpkin and cut it out. I die cut it, but you could cut it with your scissors. So we're going to set that aside. Let's see, we'll get our larger sentiment. I have a smaller block. And we're going to stamp this. I did a stitch circle out of our stitch shapes, guys. And we're going to use a little larger circle for our larger sentiment. That cleaned off. Okay, then we have another one. That one says golden leaves, chilly air, autumn beauty everywhere. I love that. Okay, this one, upside down. We're going to do on the smaller stitch circle. I'm just looking at this from an angle. So it says, all good things come from above. Alright, let's let that dry. And then our last stamped image is this one that says, oh, I can't tell what it says until I get some ink on it. We're just stamping this on a little strip. It says, plant kindness, harvest love. There we go. All right, so we're all done with our stamping. Let's get this cleaned up here. Put away. All right, let that dry for a minute. Now we're going to color two things. We're going to color a pumpkin and this image. Now pumpkin, I'm just using my pumpkin pie markers and this dark soft suede. I'm going to do the dark soft suede on the little stem. And then use my dark pumpkin pie, kind of where my shading is, where I would do shading. I'm just going to do a little bit on these ribs of the pumpkin. And then we're going to finish it off with the light pumpkin pie. So I like to use my brush tip to color in. Get most of my color added. Like this one. And then take the other end and do a little bit of blending. Kind of leaving the center a little bit lighter. There we go. I think that's pretty good for our pumpkin. We'll set that aside. I'm going to make sure this is nice and dry so we don't have any accidents. Now I used early espresso. I didn't use the memento, and that's okay. The regular inks you can use with your blender pens. Alright, so I am going, now these are really small areas, so we're not going to do a whole bunch of shading because it already kind of has some shading done for us, but I'm going to use on the bigger images the light and the dark. Really there's only one big image, it's this larger pumpkin. Whoops, wrong end. This larger pumpkin, but I'm not going to worry too much about blending and shading because there's just not much room. Pumpkin. I think I'm also going to use this darker orange right here on this one. Alright, and then we have some Cajun Craze. Let's see, let's use the lighter and see how that looks. It's kind of a, I'm going to try the darker one. Let's see if that looks better. Yeah. I like that one. So we're going to just color this with a little bit of the darker Cajun Craze. I think that looks good for that. We're going to do our apples in the, I'm going to say these are apples. I don't know what they are. They could be all kinds of gourds. I don't know. I'm going to use the dark real red though. I'm going to color them like they're apples. Okay, do this one down here. And this little one over here. Okay. Now we have this other little gourd, which definitely does not look like an apple. We're going to use a little mango melody. I think this is dark mango melody, and I'm going to use this on my corn in the background too. Kind of hard to tell what everything is. There's a lot going on here. Okay. And that's that. And then I'm using, what color is this? Dark Cherry Cobbler. I'm going to use these, I'm calling these berries up here, or they could be little crab apples. I don't know what they are. But I went with the Dark Cherry Cobbler on those. And then I'm going to use some dark mint macaron, color my leaves. I'm going to use the other tip. Mint probably normally would not be my leaf color of choice, but mint is in the color scheme of our designer paper. So we're going with the majority of colors in the paper. All right, let's see. This looks like a leaf here. Okay, I think that's all of our leaves. We're going to go back to our dark soft suede for our stems. And last but not least, we're using a light crumb cake to finish up our basket. That way we don't hide the detail in there. All right, I think we're done with coloring. I did go out of the line just a little bit. As you know, I'm not a colorer, so I'm just using my color lifter, and you can actually use this to create a little bit of a shadow around your stamped images. And it's very light, but it just kind of gives a little extra watermark type of look around the edges of your image. All right, so we are done with our coloring. I am just going to move these out of the way. Stick these over here. And it is time to assemble. Yay! We're going to save this for last. That's the biggest one to work on. So we're going to assemble this one with our smaller sentiment. And I'm using some of the Seal Plus today. I had a package of this, so figured I would give that a try. All right, putting a little on here. This is the pretty one with the gold. Something's going on out there. John's listening to a very loud video. I'm going to close the door. Okay, so this is where we're going to use some of this gold, the gold twine. We're going to wrap it around twice. I cut enough so that I can tie a bow, and then I'm going to tie my my little acorn trinket on here. I can't seem to tie a knot. So I'm going to tie a knot first. That will make it easier for me to put my trinket on and tie a bow. Now a little tip with this, cord is that it becomes unraveled very easily, so you've got to watch out for that. All right. I want that to be spread out, so I like to tie it and then I can spread it out and place it where I want it. All right. Next we are going to try to get this nice and tight. Here's our trinkets. These are so cute. They're heavy too. So I feel like I needed to tie this in. I'm going to tie it in a knot. It's going to be a loose knot so it hangs, but I definitely need to tie it in a knot. And then we're going to tie our bow. Now the ends are becoming nice and frayed, which is what I'm looking for on this project. They're a little bit long, so I'm going to cut them down just a bit, but keep them all nice and spidery looking. And get rid of all of that mess. That goes on something else. Let's move that aside. All right, so next what we're going to do is just pop this up on the top and bottom. Stick that right in the center, and that one is done. All right, so this is our next one. And what I did is I've already punched out of the designer paper all the little leaves and the acorns. So those punches, we'll punch out both the foil ones that are vanilla and, let me find that paper. This paper has them already pre-printed. Now we don't have a punch for the little rounded leaf, but for both of the fun fall leaves and the acorn, I've already punched them out. Here are the punches. That's the longer leaf, like the oak leaf. This one, if you can tell, is the maple leaf, and then this is the acorn. So this comes in a bundle with the stamp set that goes with it, which I don't know where it went. Somewhere around here. I'm going to just show you real quick. This one, Beautiful Autumn. Okay. All right, so let's make up this project, or this square here, and I'll post measurements on my blog later today. So we're going to cut 2 pieces of ribbon, and this is the coordinating ribbon with the sweet. This is kind of a copper metallic, really pretty. I'm just going to use some Scotch tape to tape this on. And what I'm doing is kind of doing it like a present, but to save on ribbon, we're just going to use small pieces. Tape them around the back. Then we'll do another one, crossing it over, so it's like a pretty gift with it meeting on that top left. Some tape there, and some over here. All right. So next we're just going to pop all of our little punched pieces out. One more. All right. Let's start with this one. Just going to put that right there. This one's going to go kind of down from that, overlapping. And then our acorn going to go just kind of above that. So they're all at the same level, but they're just like a little, you know, meeting of the pieces. I don't know. You know, I just make this up as I go sometimes. All right. So with this, honestly, this is my favorite pattern out of the whole pack. I love this. I just love the colors on this. So I was really tempted to just leave it like this, but I thought we might need something. Just a little something on there because it's a sampler, so it can't just be plain. That's definitely my favorite pattern. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. I've got a little smudge right there for some reason. Might have had a fuzz on my block. So I was going to add the little leaf right here, but because there's a smudge, I'm going to add it down there. Not really a smudge, it's like a little hair or like a piece of fudge. You can tell where my mind's going today. I'm thinking about fudge. A piece of fuzz, a piece of fuzz was on my block or in the ink and it got on there. So I'm just going to cover it like that. See, that's how you fix things, right? All right, two more, and then we'll do our big one. So here's our stripe piece with our cornstalk. And I'm using crushed curry for my mats today. I tried all the different colors and crushed curry to me looked best. So that's what we went with. All right, so we have our plant kindness, harvest love sentiment. And this is about 5/8 of an inch wide, and we're just going to layer this on a 7/8 inch wide piece of early espresso, just to make it pop out a little bit. I've been doing a lot of talking this week, and I am just a little tongue-tied today. All right, now I have punched a little gold heart to tie in a little bit more of our gold in here, and this is from the dog punch, which I love because it makes the perfect little gold heart. Cute, that was quick. Okay, and then our last small one is this piece. What's on the back of that? I like that too. I kind of like that herringbone pattern. Something a little bit different. And then this is the other ribbon that's in the suite. It's a pack with the copper, but it's some mint. I wanted to use this a little bit. Now I was hoping it would fray. It kind of frays, but doesn't fray nicely. You have to pull out, like there's a little spring here. But I don't like that spring hanging out. So this is not really meant to fray real well, but that's okay. We don't always have to fray. The gold frays, this does not. Alright, I'm just putting too many dimensionals on the back. Make sure that's on the top and the bottom. And just center that right there. And then we have our pumpkin. I'm going to pop that up too. Let's just do 2 pop-ups on our pumpkin. I felt I needed a pumpkin because our sentiment says autumn leaves and pumpkins please. So definitely needed a pumpkin on that. Alright, so next we are going to build our very large sentiment, and I have pre-punched all the letters. So I'm going to show you a trick to assembling these straight, because I'm not very good at that. Alright, so this, I don't know what that is. Piece of brown from some piece of something. It'll just be in the paper. We'll see if we can cover that. Alright, so this is 5.5 by 5.5. And so halfway across is 2 3/4. So I put just a little pencil mark at 2 3/4. This is where grid paper comes in real handy. And we sell this in the catalog. But it's great for placing things. So I figured out my halfway point. I'm going to put it on this line, but my center line of my grid paper, and on this 9-inch mark. Alright. And then I'm going to take just a little old washi tape and hold it in place so that it doesn't go anywhere. It's not super sticky washi tape because I don't want it to tear my paper, but I don't want it to move. Alright, so next I have this big piece of, it's just crumb cake, it doesn't matter, any cardstock that you have. I'm gonna put this at the 8-inch mark. See right here, going across 8 inches. And this is where I'm gonna do an inch between each layer. So I'm gonna put another piece of washi right there. I need one more to hold the other end. I don't want that moving. All right, so this gives me a 1-inch gap space right here to start my first layer. So every layer is going to be 1 inch down. All right, so I have my letters. All right, I'm using my piercer. You can use if you have a paper piercer or the Stampin' Pick tool. I'm just going to kind of center this first layer. I die cut all my letters and then they got all mixed up. I know I have a T. There it is. T-U-M-N. So our first word is autumn. And I cut these last night and I used the new adhesive sheets. Let me show you how great these are. Okay, so basically A-U-T-U, I'm going to put we've got 6 letters, so here's the center. These letters are slightly bigger. M's are always a little bigger than the other letters. So I'm putting my U right on my center line. And I have that adhesive on the back, so I'm taking the sharp end and just poking it in there to lift it up. Then I'm going to just use my cardstock there as a guide and eyeball, hopefully getting them straight up and down. All right, the hardest part for me is picking them up off the table. All right, so these already have the adhesive. I love this. All right. You want to try to be fairly uniform in your spacing. So make sure once you start spacing that they're all the same space apart. All right. I'm just kind of standing them up on my guide here. All right, let's get our T. Make sure your word is spelled correctly before you stick it down. I did some of these backwards, so let's scooch that over just a hair. Make sure your spacing's good, and put it down gently before you make sure it's right before you give it a good press, because it's a little harder to get off once it's all the way down. And our A. This one, the center of my A is not coming out. Okay. I feel like my U is a little crooked. I'm glad I didn't press it down too far. This is why I had my doubts about how, if I wanted to do this sentiment, because it was very long. And then the question was, how am I going to center this? I don't know. All right, so first layer's down. Now I'm going to go down to the next number, which is 7. So I go down to the 7 grid. There's a little grid for every 1/4 inch. So you have to go down to 4. I just looked over. Find number 7. All right, so the next word is leaves, and then I'm going to use my ampersand, but I'm going to move this over because I'm going to put some leaves here, and I'm going to put some leaves over here. So I'm actually scooting. I'm not going to worry about centering this one. I'm just going to put it over a bit so I have room at the side for some more leaves. I love this alphabet. It's called Playful Alphabet. And I like the way the E, the center E is down a ways. All right. See, this paper really comes off pretty easily. Whoop, that's an A, not a B. Well, get there. But this is so much easier, I'm telling you, than putting glue on every one of these letters, because not only is it messy, it takes longer because you have to pick up each letter, shake your glue out, put it on, put it into place. This way you can just peel and stick. And an S. Right. And then we have a little ampersand. It's super cute. In the die set. Okay, and the end. So I can stick, I have a nice little space here to put some leaves. Alright, and we're going to move it down to the 6 mark. I'm going to stick down the word pumpkins. And I'm actually starting this one from this side. So I have to spell pumpkins backwards. Okay, I don't want it all the way to the, I want it about the difference of where that one is. Okay, if you're not sure about spelling words backwards, just write them out, and then you can just look at it backwards. I was thinking in my head while I did this, now I have a cheat sheet. Uh-oh, I should have an I in here. I remember cutting an I, but I'm not seeing it. So let me see if it's on my sheet here. My letter I has gone AWOL. It's not mixed in with my leaves. Well, wouldn't you know it, that's always how it's going to happen. Something is gonna go wrong. So we're just going to cut another eye. Let me see if I have a little piece of that paper left over from last night. Oh, can I squeeze an eye in there? Let's see. Now you'll see how we do it. So I took my early espresso cardstock and stuck a little piece that I thought I needed on the double-sided adhesive sheet, and then it sticks to that, and then the backing is already on there. And these are I love these dies because you can tell where the letters go. Look at that. There's the G, so you always know if you have all your letters, because these go missing very easily. So I'm going to take this I. Where did that go? Oh, there it is, stuck to it. All right, where's our big shot? Oh, this is my poor old cranky big shot. Let's just stick this in here. If you can see, I think I can fit my eye right on the edge of that. Yes. Just gonna put that right there on our espresso, roll it through. This poor thing, now this has been abused. It's very loved, and many, many thousands of die cuts on there. All right. And then we have our letter in here. We can just poke it out if it doesn't come right out. Okay, put that there so I don't lose it. All right, so now we have our I. And then I'm gonna find this. As soon as I pick up my paper, it's gonna be under my crumb cake cardstock right here. Of course, that's always what happens. All right, so we have a K. The adhesive sheets peel off into smaller sections, so sometimes that makes that really easy for removal. All right, so we've got a P. We are almost done. 1.5 words left, and then a few pop-ups. All right. Pumpkins is definitely a challenging word to spell backwards. It's got all kinds of weird letters we don't normally use. M. U. So our new stamp and cut and emboss machine is coming out next month. I should have had that up here. I have it, but I have a class tonight, and so I have it downstairs set up for class. Maybe I'll bring that up next time. All right, autumn leaves and pumpkins, please. Oh, that's what happens. Let's put it back into place. I was messing around. Accidents happen when you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. All right, so now we are on 5. I'm going to set this here. Up. And the last word is please. So I'm going to spell this one forward, but I have to fit it in right here so we don't have a ton of extra room. All right, now if you guys are making comments or asking questions, I cannot see because my camera's pointing down. But I will look afterwards and answer any questions you may have. Bring these slightly closer together just to make sure I have enough room. P-L-E. Leaves and please. That's okay. I just thought this was a cute, I just Googled sentiments because I was going to do Happy Fall, y'all, with this, and then do a punch art scarecrow, which was a thought, and I may do that eventually, but I really liked this sentiment because I haven't really seen this before. With something a little bit different. Last one. That wasn't too painful to get all those letters on there. Yay! Okay. So now we're just going to add some leaves. So we're going to do some flat and some popped up. All right, so I'm using all the printed sides. I'm going to do that one right there. Let's go ahead and take that off. And there's a green one. I'm going to use this. Use that right there. And then I think I have one more of the maple. Put that one right there. Alright, and then we'll pop up one of these oak leaves. I'm going to have that just kind of going right there. Let's see what color this is. That's gold. Ooh, gold. Let's put a gold one kind of coming off there. Here's another gold. Put this one going that way. And I've got one more. And stick this right here. Alright, and now we have a couple acorns. one right here, and one last acorn. And these acorns are so cute, kind of laying down. Yay, we're done. Let's stick this on here. Where's my adhesive? That's a good question. I have debris everywhere. Alright. Let's get this on right here. Okay, now placement, and we can see it all come together. Let me get my guide out. My template, which fell on the floor. The roll across. And pick it up. Okay. We're going to start we'll start in the bottom left corner. So make sure these are 1 5/8 width. That's our border all the way around. This one's going to go in this corner. It's hard to get the adhesive on once I've glued all my bumpy parts on there. That didn't sound good. All right. Let's do this corner. So when you're assembling these, samplers, you want to do all your corners first. Let's fix our bow. Okay, and then we have this next corner. So I'm just making sure that my strips are flush with the edges. Okay, I've got this one next. And this is Seal Plus adhesive, so it's very strong. Make sure I get it in here correctly before. I usually just rotate my paper around so I can do this easier. Alright, that looks pretty good. And then our big one goes down in this corner. Let's make sure this is nice and even with the edge of our paper. This big one, got some little backings there. Is there a word for that? The backings to the dimensionals? I feel like there should be a term for that. I don't know what it is. I might have to make one up. Alright. That looks pretty straight with our guide. Alright. I'm going to just rotate this and make sure these two are lined up right there. And we're going to add this one in between. Get my adhesive going. And I'm just butt that up and then eyeball it in between the two. And then our last one, I'm going to rotate here so I can see this. Now, if you're doing this with a glass frame, I'm not sure if this is going to work. I like that there, but it needs a little bit of give for that trinket because it's thick. It's not flat. Alright. There we go. Ta-da! I hope you guys enjoy that. Oh, I'm on low battery. Oh, we're almost done. Alright. I will post measurements and supply lists on my blog later today and upload this to YouTube. I would encourage you guys to go to my blog, stampandcrew.com. Sign up for my newsletter so you can get posts whenever I post something on there. You'll get an email, and then subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just Google Sandy Reese, or you can follow the link and subscribe. All right, thanks everybody, and I will see you next week. All right, bye bye.